What's up, ladies and gents? This is Mike Headley, host of the Headley Group Real Estate Show. The podcast was designed to show business professionals who happens to have a license to sell real estate how you can make money outside of just selling a piece of property. We are talking to entrepreneurs that's making things happen. Continue to tune in. Hey gang, this is Mike Headley. We are back. Another great episode in the Headley Group Real Estate Show. Listen, people, I gotta tell you all the time is that, we keep it honest, we keep it real. I seen these brothers on social media, came across the feed, and we had guests before doing what they're doing, but they're doing it at a different level. What I mean by that, I'm talking about land flipping. These brothers is killing it. So first thing I said, me and the team, I said, we got to reach out to them because we had people on the show, residential, multifamily, but nobody really doing land flipping except we had one guest. But we want to give a warm welcome to the Acre Boyzz for doing land flipping. How you doing, fellas?
Very good, very good. How about yourself, brother?
Oh man, brothers.
Love, we thank you for having us, man. We certainly appreciate the invite.
Oh, listen, brother. First of all, I want to thank you all for honoring, because sometimes, like I said, we keep it real on our show. We reach out to some people, we don't really kind of get the responses, but now all of a sudden the steam, the first wheel is rolling, right? So I want to again thank you all for being on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
You know how it goes. They don't believe you until they do. You know
Woo,
what I mean?
brother, listen, you about to start a whole nother conversation, right? Because as long as I believe it, it's all that matters, right?
They didn't believe us either at first.
That's
but,
right.
Yeah.
We're going to dive into this. So we got the brothers is Jay and Ray, and they said, just like Ray J, Jay and Ray, the Acre Boyzz brothers, we asked every guest, what was that itch? What was that scratch? What made you say, I need to get in this form of real estate?
Well, I think, I come from a traditional real estate background. I've flipped houses before. You know what I mean? We've been involved in all different kinds of real estate. But, one thing that we knew that we didn't understand anything about the land space. So looking at houses and doing all of that stuff was really, really cool. But one thing that we realized really, really early was that there's no house without the land. So the common theme of understanding how to own the land that the structures are built upon, I think that was real key. And as far as what we do, we had a lot of different experiences with tax deed investing, and then going from there to just going after the owners of assets that they usually they're typically not using and understanding how to acquire those assets at probably about 25 to 30% on the dollar.
Nice. So, and again, I want to unpack that question a little bit. You did some flipping before, and I'm quite sure you did real well off of it. But the land deal, that was the thing you said, okay, well, did you feel as though that the market was neglected in terms of not much attention people focusing on land, or? Okay.
The market is certainly not neglected. I mean, and if you look like me, you may think it's neglected.
Gotcha.
Right? If you look like me.
For sure.
Thank you for clarifying.
We first thing, let's just rewind. We came across land because we were looking for something to do. We was looking to get off our jobs. We were tired of working, the whole spill, tired of being overworked, underpaid. I didn't get into the union until I was after 30. The average expectancy of a black man at that time was like 68. In order for me to retire, by statistics standpoint, I would have 3 years left in my lifespan before I checked out. So that didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, and I wanted to do something else. And I'm a hard worker, but I'm not really a good worker because I don't like the whole concept. It's like, work, you do something, I'll pay you, or you do something, I'll pay you. It's like the strip club. You give me money and I'll do something for you. I don't like the concept of traditional work.
Gotcha.
Never have. And he has the same attitude that I have, and we linked up. We tried to do other things before we got into land investing. We tried to do like credit restoration. We tried that failed for us. We tried to do some other things in the housing market where we were just doing overseeing other people's property, like property management. We tried that, made a couple of dollars in it. Nothing had a big splash for us. So we just kept looking, and we decided one day to pay for a course. So out the gate, we tell everybody, if you're not comfortable with paying, then get comfortable with taking the long route, right? You paid to skip the line, and that's what we did. Once we paid some money, we took a course on tax deeds. We didn't know anything about tax deeds. We paid, we learned the tax deed game. We made a lot of money in the tax deed game. And that's when we got introduced to heavier land investors who showed us other ways to go about getting larger acreage.
Yeah, for sure. And just piggyback on top of that is the reason, the key why I'm quite sure, you've been involved for a while. Mentorship is so important because the reason for that is, if I had somebody, or I'm quite sure you know this too, who has 30 years worth of experience and can condense his 30 years worth of experience into 6 months, I would deem that valuable. You know what I mean? So you got somebody that's coming before you that took all the bruises, the bumps, the pitfalls of where you could lose money at, where you're not going to lose money at, and wrapped it up and and gave it to you for you to go run with. So that's what we understood really fast is learn how to pay for information. It's very, very valuable. Help you skip the line and fast. Like I heard this guy, Markel Russell, say one time, he said, you got your current reality, and then you got your desired reality. Your current reality, and it's in the club, your current reality is outside of the club. Your preferred reality is inside of the club, but you pay that bouncer that's in between a premium to get to your preferred destination a lot faster. So that's the same kind of thing, same thing, just direct parallels. You know what I mean?
Great analogy. Great. I like. I think I gotta get a round of applause on that right there, brother. That was what I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Sure.
So many different courses out there. You know how it is. You see social media, man. It's where as though somebody says 2 impactful things and 3 impactful things. Next, here's my book or my course. Not knocking no one's hustle, but someone's fresh out the box, starting from kindergarten level. How do they decipher? How do they say to pick the one that's going to be valuable? I don't know if you can answer that, but I want to hear you elaborate on that.
Say, first and foremost, find something that resonates with you, right? If land or any form of real estate is something that you're not into, then maybe the real estate game is not something that you want to attempt to try. If your passion is to, they have so many different courses, right? So I would go after what your passion is first, because even if you get in the land space or any traditional real estate space and you're making money, if your heart is not in it, then you're just going to make some money and then you'll be out of it in a few years because your heart is not in it. We came from a real estate background, so we always knew that we wanted to do something in the real estate market. We just didn't know that land would find us. So I would say just go after what you're passionate about, because they selling just about any and everything out there.
That's right.
Also too, I was never afraid to do it. I was like ordering little things. Used to find these little websites. Heard a guy, Ty Lopez. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I am.
He said,
the book guy.
Yeah, for sure. He said on one of his podcasts that I watched, if you bought 10 of those cheap courses from those so-called scammers that you're talking about, the information which you come up with out of those 10 courses will probably be enough to change your life. I've gotten so much valuable information and I'm talking about stuff that's not even expensive.
Correct.
$15, $20, $30. But the things that I don't care if I got one nugget from it, just one, it's enough to compensate for that price or that small price that I paid. You know what I mean?
It's just to piggyback on top of that. Like I said, I'm an avid reader, and I do believe in if I buy this book for $40 and I get something out of just a chapter that can be a plus, it was paid for, right? So, 100%. And I like what that analogy Ray said is that you pay to get in front of the line. I'm gonna use that, brother. I like that. That's real. You definitely do. How long have you guys been doing it? How long have you been in the game?
We've been rocking what we're doing. We've been about 5 years now.
5 years. 5 years.
Yeah,
Gotcha. 5 years.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of our guests are real estate professionals as well as investors and people who are just not in the business, but majority of them are real estate professionals. Are you all licensed? Do you have to be licensed to kind of do what you all are doing?
Good question. Great question. Actually, no, you don't have to be licensed to buy land. We love the licensed real estate professionals because they actually help us out in evaluating our land, because we buy land sight unseen and we buy land virtually. So we work with a lot of real estate agents that are licensed.
Gotcha. So let's dive into that now. You're in, and tell the people where you're from. Where you at?
We are based out of New York. We're in Long Island, New York. That's where our home base is.
That's right. Okay. LI, Long Island, New York. So you see something come up in Alabama, and I'm quite sure you said early, you guys invest nationally, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I'm throwing an example out there, and I'll ask you about a deal a little later on as during the interview moves forward. You see a deal in Alabama. Walk us through that process of exactly like, what do you all do? What's your due diligence looks like?
Okay, so let's just say I have a property of a landowner that's interested out there. The first thing I'm going to do is bring that property up on a GIS map, and I'm going to do my first stage due diligence based on that property. I'm looking for things like flood zone. I'm looking for things like wetlands. Is the property landlocked or not? And what are the attributes around the property that would make somebody actually want to buy that particular piece of dirt? It's like what we like to call it, buy that particular dirt. So that's like our first stage due diligence. I want to disqualify or qualify the property virtually. Also, I need to check slope as well. Like, coming from the front of the property, going back to the property, is there a slight slope? Is it gradual, or does it drop off? And all of these things that you can use that are tools that you can use right from the comfort of your own home.
Hit the people with landlocked. Use that terminology. I know what it means, but you can let them. What does that mean?
Okay, that basically means that the property has no access from the actual road. So basically, that in order for you to get to that property, I'd have to go through someone else's property first before accessing the property that I'm looking to purchase. Now, the only way that property would be accessible to us is if that property had an easement that was on deed. So sometimes we run into properties like that where initially it looks landlocked, but once we do a little bit more due diligence, especially on the second stage, we'll find out that property may have an easement leading directly to the property, what gives it road access.
Man, you sure you ain't licensed?
I know, right? Brother's been doing his knowledge, boy. I'm sitting back just listening. I'm like, check. Yeah, check. Brother's right. Yeah, exactly.
And like I said, me and him, we have the same personality, which is all gas, no brake. When we learn something, like me and him fell asleep at the computer, just figuring out things that you know. So it's just for us, it's just a lot. We love to learn, especially when it's profitable learning. You know what I mean? So
that's nice.
Yeah, sure.
So before, and again, we're going to move on to some more questions, but I want to dive in you too. Some people prefer working by themselves. Some people work better with a team, good partnership. You mentioned all gas, right? And you complement each other. What's the pluses and the minuses of you all? Because you might be the analytical one, and he's the one like, let's make it this. He's making decisions, make it happen. How do you complement each other so the viewers can say, hey, I don't mind working with a partner, and I understand everybody's different, but share some of that about you all in a working relationship.
Okay.
So for me,
smiled on that one.
So for me, like I have a certain level of craziness in me, and I think what we've learned along this journey, that anybody that's having any form of success in whatever field they're in, whether that's real estate or whatever they do, we all have a certain level of craziness in us, because you have to be, because it's so competitive especially with social media and competing on everything. It comes with a certain level of craziness. So as far as having a partner, I absolutely recommend having a partner, because some days I don't want to be crazy, right? Some days you lose some of that steam. Some days it's not all gas. Some days you're a little fatigued. And when those days you're feeling like that, that's usually when he comes and he's all crazy and he's all gas. Then you like, yo, I'm not gonna let him, I'm not gonna let him just be crazy by himself.
Gotcha.
He keeps me going when I'm not feeling that way, and vice versa. Some days he's off, and I come like, yo, guess what I just heard? We listen to a lot of podcasts, we read a lot of books. So he'll call me and be like, yo, I just read Ty Lopez's book. He said X, Y, and Z. Yo, we need to be doing, and I'm like, oh yeah, Ty Lopez again. You know what I'm saying? So my energy might be lower, and his energy will come and pick me up, and I'll be like, yo, yeah, let's go. He's right, all gas. That's what it is, all gas at all times.
Like you said, just to piggyback on what I said, it's like, it's like a power kind of thing, because we understand that everybody does not feel the same way every day. So once we understand that, the power of having a partner, if you're isolated, and you're by yourself, it could be harder for you to get through those small little bit of times that you go for a drop. But if you have somebody else, listen, this is what we set out to do. Did we do it or did we not do it? It's real black and white with me. So, you know, eventually, you know, I don't know if we can curse or whatever, but
let it go, brother. Just keep it real on the show.
Fuck your feelings.
That's right.
Your feelings come and go. You know what I mean? This is how, but we have a goal that we have set out to get to, and nothing can stop us from getting to that goal besides me and him. That's it.
I like that.
Let me say one more thing on that topic, because this is very important, especially for us as black people, right?
That's right.
In the beginning of any new venture, it could be pretty intimidating. It could be scary. And you find some comfort in having somebody else to fail with. I don't know why.
Correct.
Having somebody that you can fail together with, it's a little more comforting and less scary when it's two of you, right? And the other thing is, in the beginning, when you're capital building, you know, 2 is always better than 1. 3 is better than 2. We like to cap it off at 2, because anything over the 2, we call that a monster. So with the 2 of us, when we was beginning, if it was something we had to pay for as a cost, and the cost was $1,000, it's a lot easier in the beginning for me to put up $500 as opposed to having to risk the whole $1,000. So that was a big plus to us in having a partner.
Are you looking to join a winning team? Join us as a broker and receive high-level training, mentorship, and an awesome commission structure. If you're interested, visit www.theheadleygroup.com or call us at 336-904-6212. We look forward to partnering with you.
Well, I can say just about, like I said, just talking to you, brothers, that egos are checked. And I'm quite sure we all human. Sometimes we have disagreements, but I'm quite sure you all have plans in place when them disagreements arise. Like, we're not going to take it too personal, but we're going to let it go in terms of our differences, but we're going to come to a solution. Kudos to you brothers on that, because again, you know, as you say, sometimes us as African Americans, you know, particularly brothers, sometimes egos could be is a little sensitive, right? Particularly doing business. So kudos to you brothers on that.
For sure.
Back to
careful.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
You should be very careful of. It's probably one of the main things that you can focus on in the beginning. You should be very careful of who you decide to get in bed with.
Very
right?
much so.
That relationship could make you or break you. We hear about it all the time.
Facts.
Brothers came in the game, they made a whole lot of the money, and they go their separate ways, and they explode. Or somebody stole the money, right? Or when you start getting a little bit of so-called fame, or Instagram fame, or Facebook fame, one gets more big-headed. This one, man, you better select very careful of who you get in bed with, because it's the same. Like I tell him all the time, all relationships are the same, whether that's man to woman or man to man. It's based off of respect. And me and him don't really have any problems, because we respect each other at a high level, and you know, what you put out is what you're going to get back. So we just as friends, like, we never had problems, and we never will have problems, because we just have a mutual respect for each other.
Nice. Going back what you said a second ago, be careful who you kind of line yourself with. It reminds me of, you see, the R&B groups. It's like, it's 4 of them, then it's like, you don't really need them. You can do it by yourself, and they always break up, right? Because one feels the ego is not checked.
100%.
Cleared land versus land with trees on it. What do you prefer? And does it matter? Cleared land or land that's not cleared?
Well, all right. So I guess it's I guess a couple ways that we can look at that. You know, sometimes we have buyers, you know, that prefer either one of the two. But I would definitely say that I like land that's uncleared myself, and this may be a little bit different than mine. And I'll tell you why. Because then we'll start going into timber value. Is it pine trees? Is it oak trees? How long has it been there? So that could be a whole nother separate play as far as making that property 100% more profitable. Now, if the property is cleared, you know what I mean, it still could be a good situation for a buyer that is looking for that kind of thing. So a lot of times we get property that's partially cleared, partially wooded. Because one of our major buyers that buy from us is people who do recreation. They like to come put up small cabins, and they want those trees. They want all of that stuff there because that's how they do their recreation. They do their hunting, whether they're doing their RVs or four-wheeling, whatever the case may be. So definitely, it's that's kind of like a up in the air. That primarily depends on who am I selling to? You know what I mean?
Correct.
What's the buyer's needs? You know what I mean?
In location, if we're looking at infill lots as opposed to large acreage, if it's an infill lot, I prefer it to be cleared because infill lots are usually building lots, and that just makes the job a lot more easier for the builder and a little more attractive. But if it's a larger acreage tract, definitely all day long, we don't want anything cleared.
Gotcha. The first thing, again, I'm asking during the due diligence process, is a survey the first thing, or you just going off the GIS?
We don't really deal with surveys unless absolutely needed.
Okay.
We buy big tracts, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
And it all depends on what county that we're dealing with, because some counties are notorious for their records not being organized. So then surveys come into place if the records are not organized. But otherwise than that, only time we get into surveying things is when we're looking to subdivide a lot, or we're at the part of the sale when the buyer is asking for a survey, and we'll pass that on along to him and let him pay for the survey and get it if you want. And that's to the extent we go to as far as with the survey.
Got perfect transition into, has there ever been a deal where as though you had the land and said, oh, we got to keep this, and you actually put a structure on it? It was so sweet, or?
Yeah, no, not currently. We are getting into now, looking for some pieces to keep for ourselves. Just do some minor splits, some forced depreciation, different things like that. But as of currently, we have it right now. We have been getting them in and getting them out, but we do plan on doing some agricultural things and some other things with the property that's going to make it a lot more lucrative. And on top of that, it's a lot of tax breaks when it comes to that too. So
exactly.
So yeah, for sure.
The one thing for me is, for both of us, we've been saying that because we're looking to eventually move. We've been in New York our whole life, and it's about that time we're ready to go. We just haven't really figured out exactly where we want to be.
Gotcha. And
without knowing that, it's kind of hard for us to hold on to any pieces until we kind of figure out, look, this is where we would attempt to stay at and plan ourselves there.
Okay. Rocket's deal. Everybody have him. Deal from hell. Say, damn, why I can't close this? What is going on? Unless you guys are fortunate, that top 1%. If you had it, please talk about it so people can say, this is what not to do.
In the beginning, we bought the wrong thing. We didn't have all the experience underneath our belt, green behind the ears, and just was going. And we bought a property that had an electric line easement running through it. And it was clear. The land, speaking of clear, when we used to first look at land, I would always be the one like, "Oh, it's clear. It's clear. That's a good thing." So what was cleared on the land was the electric line easement. They had cleared that, and I just was like, "Oh wow, that's a good piece," because it was in a subdivision.
Okay.
But what we've learned is, if you're in a subdivision and everything else is built out, and that one piece is available, that's a red flag.
Yeah. Right. So why did they build everything else out in that area, and they just happen to leave that one piece? Calls for a little bit more due diligence. You know what I mean?
Correct.
That piece right there, we that is the one deal that we didn't make money on. We've done over 350 deals, and that's the only one time that we didn't make any money on. We actually lost money on.
Yeah, for sure. And I tell you how it wound out. We lost a few dollars on that deal. We did sell it, however, because of the bylaws and everything else based off of the subdivision, you couldn't even build a certain feet under that actual easement. So what happens is, my partner Funny, he said, he put it up and said, how about a garden? ? You know what I mean? And somebody bought it.
Wow.
Somebody bought it.
Wow.
Yeah.
The like you said, you guys invest all throughout the country. is there a particular region that you would recommend stay away from, or it doesn't matter?
I would recommend that you stay away from like Florida. Which is a hotbed, right? The only reason I'm saying this to stay away from Florida is because if you don't know what you're doing in Florida, Florida deals with a lot of wetlands, right? So if you're not familiar and you're not connected to anyone that can tell you about these wetlands and things like that, then you might have some trouble in the beginning. If you're an experienced investor, it's on fire.
Okay.
And like to go to that, like, you know, we use like I said, we into these books, these business books, and Ray Dalio has a book called Principles. I don't know if you ever read. And that's one of the things that we use as far as our business that we borrowed for him, which is the theory of triangular believability, which means that we're going to go ahead and do the assessment on our side as far as all the due diligence from everything from we see from not being on the actual ground. Then we're going to leverage the experience of realtors in those areas just to give us their opinions on what they think the property would sell for. Do you have any buyers in that area? Which is a clean, pertinent question either. And what do you think this actual property would sell for? You know, I'm picking it up for X, Y, and Z. Is this a safe price point for at that point? So a lot of people ask a lot of time, well, how do you not see the property? We're leveraging, and not just regular real, these are specific land brokers.
Got you.
Land brokers.
Specializing.
Know the lay of the land like the back of their hand. So that's the real difference. You want an expert. Those guys are usually like whitetail guys. They're usually like people who've been around, you know, and we got a lot of big time realtors that we deal with. They know the lay of the land so crazy. They can almost tell you without, if it's a good property, just based off of the actual APN, you know what I mean? It's just based on where the property is located. So that's definitely a powerful tool, which allows us to stay home and do what we do from home and leverage everybody else's time as far as, you know, doing extra due diligence on the property.
Got it. You mentioned APM. Let the audience know what that means.
Assessor's parcel number. That's the equivalent to a parcel number when you're dealing with
like a VIN number to a car.
Yeah, right. That's the identifying number for that particular piece of property.
Any pitfalls, any certain liens that is associated with these land deals that the audience should be kind of be mindful of?
When you dealing with an infill lot, you could run across infill lot is a lot that's usually found in like a suburban area. It's more densely populated. You're gonna find all your subdivisions and smaller lots and smaller houses. Those are what infill lots is. And when you're dealing with infill lots, you can potentially expect to run across maybe grass cut liens, things of that nature. Every deal that we do these days, we run it through title, so we just let title handle, search out, and handle any liens that pop up on the property. But not too many usually come up on larger acreage. But when you're dealing with smaller lots, grass lien cuts, maybe some county taxes that may be owed, back taxes, things of that nature.
Got you. Now, brothers, you have, like I said, a wealth of knowledge. And again, I would say, I mean, like I said, listen to these brothers, been watching the social media, these brothers know what they're talking about. And that segues into this ebook these brothers got, How to Flip Vacant Land for the Beginner's Guide. All right. What made you say and talk about it? We need to get an ebook, because you're probably being hit with 1,000 questions. So what made you say, let me go ahead and get this ebook going?
Well, I can tell you this is how we winded up with an ebook and eventually graduating to a course. You know, initially we weren't going to do any of this. That's just real. My partner to tell you the same thing. We were minding our own business.
Got you. Yeah.
There have been all kind of questions from people that we bought property from. And people asking like, listen, you know, you guys are doing a huge disservice by not letting other people into this. And just to be quite real with you, the spaces that we came into that was doing something like us are 98% people who don't look like us. 98%.
Wow. I can believe it.
And so once we got into the space, we realized when we saw that, it was like, wow, well, maybe this sound like, this look like where we need to be, because it's something. If everybody's here, that means they know something that we don't know.
Correct.
And clearly, we look to find out. So I think that's definitely a part of it. We were just we said, you know what, let's just start with an ebook. Let's put some information out there and just see, you know, who was if anybody was interested in it. We put it together maybe in like a week and put it out there. And then for the people that were buying it, they were saying that that's not enough. I want a step-by-step play on how to actually do exactly what you're doing. So we winded up taking time out of, and actually, to be transparent with you, we scaled back the business a little bit and took the time to actually come up with a curriculum that would do the same thing. So we just that's where we were with it. Where we were minding our business, and people said, my mother even told me, he said, you know, you need to teach somebody else what you're doing. You know, so, and when mama talked, you know, you kind of listen, because you said it's way too much information that goes over our head just because we don't have access to. And just knowing, you know, our target market are people who look like us and correlate with us, giving them the information that they love to hear people who were where they were and having some success in what they're actually doing, just to give, because a lot of times, let's just keep it real, where we go, a lot of times places we come from, ain't a lot of hope there. You know what I mean? What we look for as success are usually based on our environment and what's around it. So if you got the dope dealer, if you got the scammers, and they the ones that's getting to the money, 9 times out of 10, unless you got a real strong personality, I already know where you're going. I can predict what's going to happen for you next.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So, but just having that positive influence to say, you know what? There's some people that look like they can live around the corner from me, and they talk completely different. They're educated, and they still got that street stuff in them because it's all there. You know what I mean? It's a place that we all come from. So, you know, it's kind of like just getting the understanding and just pushing that to our people. Like, listen, I didn't know either that I can sit at home and do all of this stuff. The guy who taught us, he's worth about $450 million. We can still call him to this day, and he got his money doing exactly what he taught us to do. You know what I mean? So I had no idea that kind of stuff was even accessible or available until we pulled ourselves out of our environment and decided to go give some information from somebody who had clear results that they knew what they were doing.
Are you looking for a real estate brokerage to help you buy or sell your property? The Headley Group Realty is here to assist you with that process. We also hire brokers to join us and give them the best training and mentorship, leading to a great office atmosphere and an attractive commission structure. Our goal is to show homeownership at the highest professional level and empower the real estate business. If you're interested in buying or selling your property, visit www.theheadleygroup.com or call us at 336-904-6212. We look forward to partnering with you.
To get in front of the line, like your brother said a second ago.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, I have to ask, because clearly I haven't seen the ebook and the course. Some courses where as though you pay for it, and I wanted the audience to get a clear understanding. Again, I don't want to speak for your course, but it's not. Is it? I'm in front of the computer and everything is happening without me physically going anywhere, or can I do it right from home?
You can do it
the success
right from home. That is all you need. You would need
Wi-Fi.
I call it wifey, because we spend a lot of time with her. That is all you need is a laptop. Fire up that wifey and get you going. And clearly you need a phone, and let's just clear the elephant out the room, because a lot of people think that you could just get involved in things and it don't take no money. It takes some money. I mean, it's a big boy. What we do now, this is the big boy leagues, right? This is life-changing money that if you strap down, you take the curriculum, in a few short months, you could be making some life-changing money. But it takes some money to get involved, and we're not talking life-changing money. But you know, when I know we're dealing with black people, and black people want everything on the arm. It's not going to happen that way. You can go to YouTube. You can try to go and learn it on your own. We just spoke about the rooms we came from. We were not in those rooms, and people think, and I'm aware of everybody selling courses, right? But we're not the guys that were looking to take advantage of people on course sales. We only did this because it kept being recommended that teaching. They need to know. Teach it. That's the only reason that we came up with a course. And then we started to get it and say, you're right. They really do need to know, because when we start talking about raw numbers, right? And from a traditional standpoint, traditional real estate, there's 150 million realtors or 500 million homes across America.
Correct.
When you start dealing with land, there's less than 10,000 land investors. And there's active land investors. And there's over 11 million acres up for sale.
Wow.
47% of America is vacant. So it's plenty room for me to eat where I'm eating at. It's room for you to eat where you're eating at. And that's our goal with our course, to link up with brothers like you. You're in North Carolina.
That's
I'm not working in North Carolina. You're in your area. So if I ever do want to come to North Carolina, I could call you and say, yo, now
that's right, brother.
North Carolina, they could tell us about the layout, what's going on over there. If I did need somebody to go look at some land. And currently we don't call them students, we call them investors. We currently have investors enrolled in the program, and they're doing excellent. And that's what we're looking to do with those same investors, is you be the eyes and ears for us in those areas if we ever wanted to go and to put some money there.
So the major thing, just to piggyback on that, is the overall goal for this long term is to have a chapter in every state. So if somebody is interested in that state, you don't have to go ahead and find the resources from scratch. We got the realtors, you got the appraisers, you got the people who do the surveys, you have all the infrastructure,
title company,
all the infrastructure already in place. It's like a plug and play kind of situation, and that's what we see long term.
And let me end this on this. Now, one thing I do find fascinating about our group and in the land spaces, we were talking about money and needing money to be involved. Certainly you need money up front to get involved. Once you're involved, you take the course, you follow the steps that we laid out, you go out and find a land deal. At that point, you don't need money anymore. At that point, we will come in and put our money up with you, and we'll go be partners, 50-50 partners, called a JV term, joint venture. We'll become 50-50 partners. We put the money up. We'll buy it together. Once it's sold, you'll take 50%. We'll take our initial investment plus 50%. Everybody's happy. That is called an infinite return, because you didn't put any money up nor take any risk.
For sure.
Wow.
And I think that's powerful for people just coming in, because as when we started coming up, we had a few dollars to get started with, but based off of the deals that we were getting, we ran out of money really, really fast. So we're saying to ourselves, like, now how are we going to acquire more capital in order to go ahead and finish these and get these kind of transactions done without losing any steam or momentum as far as waiting for the properties to sell, and then we have more capital, whatever the case may be. Like we were telling you before about our mentor, he's up in a real way, and he still does JV agreements because he understands the power of partnership, and once we truly educate people on how to do this, there is no limit as far as the deals that we can actually do together. So I think that's a very, very powerful thing. You don't have to work, and then you can scale up to the point where you may not want to use JV money anymore. Correct. Deals on your own, but at least you have a standpoint to start on. If you get a deal that costs $90,000, $150,000, and everything checks out as far as the due diligence, the deal is getting funded. It's no two ways about it. That's just how it works inside of what we do.
Wow. But brother,
go ahead.
Alone,
I'm closing on a 55. In fact, I'm closing either today or tomorrow on a 55 acre. We got 55 acres for $53,000.
Wow.
We whipped up $53,000 in less than an hour and a half.
55 acres, man.
Yeah. So the money is there. So that's what we tell people. You're going to need some upfront money, but don't worry about money, because I can't spend all the money that we have access to. We just cannot spend it, because there's more money than there is deals.
More money than deals.
More money than talent. Always more money than talent.
Question. You said, say it again. They beating your doors down to really give you money.
Doors down. They fight over these deals, and the reason why they fight over it, because they can't get returns on their money from traditional banking.
That's right.
We bring to the table with these deals. This is one particular deal we're buying for 52, and we're listing it for 110. So even in traditionally we only it only sits, our days on market is less than 3 months. So you making back your money in less than 3 months. You can't get those returns nowhere else.
And you're talking about 90% ROI, 100% ROI. You talk about numbers that, you know, that most people aren't seeing as far as returns, period. Land offers those kind of returns. See, we didn't know that coming in. You know what I mean? We coming in and, you know, for ROI calculators and going through everything. Like, you know, once we're showing people the return on investment, it's like, and y'all doing that off of land. I know people, you know, and no shade to anybody else. I know a house flipper, you know what I mean? He comes in, he puts $150,000 in the house and does this, does that. I sell the dirt and sell the same and make the same money, and I don't do nothing. Same money.
Wow.
So for us, it's not even a matter of what deal we do. For us, we're at the point is just how many deals that we can do in a calendar month.
Gotcha. Brother, let me tell you something. You literally said a mouthful that the audience can run this, gravitate towards for that course. Where can we find you at? Where can they find you at?
You can find us on Instagram at Acre Boyzz, ACREBOY 2 Z's. We just got our first
fake page.
So that means you're doing something. You know that, right? That means you're doing something.
Let me tell you what they said. They said, "Oh, y'all got a fake page now. You know you're doing something now."
You are. If you know what's crazy? So far I don't have one yet. So that means you brothers are doing something that's impactful. Wow, that's crazy. Fake page. How did you handle that? Like, what did you do with that?
This has all happened today. It's a fake page.
Today? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and they're spelling it Acre Boyzz with 3 Z's. So if you look us up, it's Acre Boyzz with 2 Z's. We'll never ask you to pay anything. You know, so if anybody inbox you on Instagram asking for your MasterCard, that's not us.
That's not us.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly.
If you want to buy the course, we have a landing page for the course.
Landing page. Gotcha.
You would go and you would buy the course from that landing page. And I recommend after or before you buy the course, you send us we got a Discord channel. Hit me on Discord and say, "Hey Ray,
nice.
I'm about to purchase the course," or "I just purchased the course," and then we can go and verify that it was purchased. Because that's not our thing. We're not in there looking to take advantage of nobody, and definitely not scammers.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Wow. Listen, brothers, like I said, you literally enlighten us with so much great information. We ask every guest for 2 golden nuggets. Like I said, you literally hit us with about 1,000. Whether it be a book, scripture, a quote, something that the audience can run with. I'm going to start with you first, Jay, then I'm going to go to you, Ray.
For sure. Mine's is going to be, you know, it's real simple, but real targeted. Do what you said you were going to do long after the feeling you said it and it's gone. Persistence. That's it.
Nice.
And mine would be my tagline. That's invest in dirt. It's a great way to make money.
There it is. Like I said, audience, we want to thank these brothers, the Acre Boyzz. They're doing some wonderful things. Again, he told you about his Instagram page. Stay away from that fake page.
Yeah,
and continue to support these brothers. They're doing some wonderful things. Again, they continue to grow. And we want to thank all of you and these brothers for being on Headley Group Real Estate Show. We'll see you all next time. Hey, gang, I hope you really enjoyed that show. Our guests provide us some great tips and insight, and please support them on all social media platforms. And while I'm saying that, support us on all social media platforms. And don't forget, watch the entire video on YouTube. We'll see you next time.